being Armenian in Azerbaijan just had another challenge. Though not as critical as probably being a Jewish rising star in the Soviet Union. No surprise, my name was not there. It was erased in Putin's Russia. Some of these old ghosts are still haunting us.
You are listening to Kasparovchess.com podcast, episode 4.
My work with Alexander Nikitin has been steadily progressing. He has been regularly sending me materials from chess publications, and I have been anxiously waiting for a new envelope or parcel arriving from Moscow to our flat in Baku. I even remember him sending me a special set to print chess diagrams. I know it sounds very odd, antique for young players, but I had to print diagrams and also had a set of chess pieces with different colors, I think red and blackish, probably made in DDR, German Democratic Republic. That was quite a rarity in the Soviet Union, and I was very proud that I could print the diagrams in my notebooks where I just had my chess analysis and collections of my chess games, and also put these chess pieces.
Скажем, словно e7, конь f3, рокировка, рокировка. Нет, просто всегда. Если входит c6. Ну, здесь конь c3 или b3. Здесь может быть конь c3 уже.
And also Nikitin was very helpful in setting my regular training program. Thanks to him, I joined Spartak Sports Society in 1975. Where both Nikitin and Shakarov belonged to.
Сыграв 48 партий с Карповым, он раскрыл много секретов и познал много тайн. Он познал Карпова, но познал и самого себя, и, возможно, впервые по-настоящему в себя поверил.
Though I still had my rights to play for Pioneer Palace in Baku, which was important because we had a very strong team that already once qualified for Pioneers versus Grandmasters tournament in 1974. And we were on the way to move for our second final, where I had my chance to play Anatoly Karpov first time over chessboard, though in simultaneous exhibition. Also, Spartak provided financial support. By Soviet standard, it was a very considerable amount of 120 rubles a month that tremendously helped our family, because my mother had to leave her job regularly, joining me, and it definitely affected her paychecks.
Reminds her of her hometown of Baku in Azerbaijan. It was here in 1969 that Kasparov discovered chess at the age of 6.
Хорошо помнят весенний день, открытое окно на кухне, мы сидим.
And in July 1975, I flew to Leningrad to take part of the All Union Spartak Junior Championship. It was the first event that Nikitin stayed with me all the time, and he considered it to be an important test of my ability to move to the next level. But he had very cautious expectations before the tournament. He wanted me to qualify for the final. There were 14 players in 2 semi-final groups. And he wanted me to do well in the final, but set up no special target. I was very anxious to prove that I was already a tough guy and I could do better than he expected. And being over anxious, I lost in the first round to an unknown player from Belarus. And though I qualified to the final, winning 4 games and losing 2 in the semi-final stage, but those 2 I lost against other qualifiers. So I started my final leg of the tournament having only 1 out of 3, and my prospects were bleak. But then in the first round of final, I played a game that I consider my first masterpiece. And it was another game against another future grandmaster, Boris Kansler. He was from Kyrgyzstan. Later he moved to Israel, where he eventually became grandmaster. He was also one of the youngest players of the event. And this game, when you look at the final position, could remind you of my evergreen game, played 24 years later in Vikhanze against Veselin Topolov. It's the first time where I succeeded of bringing enemy's king into my own camp, where it got mated. And also the game demonstrated my creative nature and ability to find attacking resources. And I'm very proud of the attack that started with move 20, with bishop g5, sacrificing the piece, and then forcing black king to start its last journey. There's also an interesting moment in the game that showed future weaknesses.
Well, Kasparov is completely
He's just
lost,
down a piece.
but I didn't understand it.
I'm
didn't
stunned
execute the
myself.
piece
And now
away.
he's played bishop e5 check. The king is going to c6. He's
Now
taking
knight
on
takes pawn
g7.
check, that's the end of it.
That accompanied me throughout my chess career, and even after I quit professional chess and played as exhibition games. It's what Mikhail Botvini called a move by hand. So just when your hand makes just a move, before your brain can actually send a warning signal, stop it. And that was at move 25. It's a very spectacular move, knight d4, that I made in the game. But of course, rook h1 was winning easily. It was a very simple win. But I picked the knight because I wanted to play knight h4 check. Totally forgot that knight takes h4 would be also check to my king. And realizing that knight h4 is no good, I just put knight to d4. I was lucky that there was another good alternative. But this one move blunders, they unfortunately were haunting me forever. And I can recall some of these blunders that cost me games in exhibition matches that I played lately in St. Louis.
He's just leaning back, shaking his head. I don't understand what's going on. Are we missing something obvious? What's happening?
He's taken it.
He's taking the pawn on f5. Why did he give away the piece?
But in this game, I was lucky. The sacrifice worked. And I also was proud to find my 29th move f3. I saw it. So playing rook e1. And then after bishop f6, playing f3. Just a quiet move with 3 pieces down. So I managed to create this mating net. And though Kansler could tougher resistance, but I think he was also paralyzed by these by waves of white's attack, and he lost very quickly. I was encouraged by the game and by the style of this victory. I won one more game, made 2 draws, and to my surprise, I not only tied second fourth in this competition, but by tiebreaks, I had my silver medal. That was the first major success.
I'm sure that this small celebration today here is just the beginning of a very, very long and successful road. I'm sure we'll build.
I was just 12 and playing with boys that were 4, 5, 6 years older than me and doing well. That was a very encouraging sign. But this tournament also had another important milestone in my life. It was my first success in the all Soviet junior chess arena, but it also was the last tournament where Garry Weinstein played. In August 1975, was the family council bringing Weinsteins and Kasparovs, and the decision was that I had to take the surname of my mother. She had not changed her surname after marriage. And since my father died in January 1971, I grew up in my mother's family, and my guardian was her father, my grandfather Shagen, and who had no sons. He had 3 daughters. And there were many good reasons to change the name. But later, I recognized that it was not only built on family considerations. Nikitin also added his voice in support of this decision, saying that for Garry Weinstein, chances to climb to the top and challenge Anatoly Karpov were minuscule because of the viral anti-Semitism in the Soviet Union. And as the man from the Central Chess Club Sports Committee who knew the mood there, he reckoned that Karpov will be protected by all the means and tools available for Soviet authorities to prevent another Jew climbing to the top and challenging him.
No, but this is a problem. But
as a matter of fact, it was still very difficult to get to the final and beat Karpov.
It looks very risky, but at least there's a chance. I want to attack his weak points.
Yeah, and the Soviet system didn't treat me well, but at least it probably solved one problem at this early stage. Though I had from that point I carried my mother's surname, and being Armenian in Azerbaijan just had another challenge, though not as critical as probably being a Jewish rising star in the Soviet Union. Just to end on a happy note, there was a funny story that after I became world champion and broke all the records, including Fischer's record in rating, and reached 2800 mark, first time in history, Mikhail Tal, ex-world champion, made one of his unforgettable jokes. He said Garry's playing so well that now he can calmly perform under his previous surname. So we thought these kind of jokes and dark humor is all left in the past, and since Soviet Union collapsed, so we could forget about it. But some of these old ghosts are still haunting us. And in 2015, when the Spartak Sport Club celebrated its 80th anniversary, the book was published with all most prominent members of Spartak and their accomplishments. And no surprise, my name was not there. It was erased in Putin's Russia. So I didn't know whether I had to be annoyed or proud that the regime was so scared of my name recognition that they decided to remove me from the book of Spartak Sport Glory, where I belonged.